Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right. So there's been a lot of talk about World War III, as if we haven't already been in it. Yes, I'm talking about the asymmetrical warfare via user manual. See, everybody thought Chinglish was just an accident. Oh no. No. Their intent was to cause us to fail at every simple step. Anyway, I don't know. That's pretty much what's in the news today that I've got for you. Has to do with Beijing/China. And so I figured I'd have a little bit of fun with the thumbnail again today. So anyway, I don't really have a whole lot for you. Not as far as myself is concerned, and in the news, I've only got 4 tabs open, believe it or not. So I figured, hell, we'll make this a Guinness Book record night and get the hell out of here and chillax. So I'm definitely up for that. I have a feeling we're going to have plenty of news in the very, very near future. So I take the easy night very happily. Anyway, like I said, China has been a little bit more in the news today as far as military type of stuff. Let's go ahead and head right on over and start dealing with this. Apparently, Beijing has deployed troops near Taiwan. Says China has announced a military exercise near Taiwan on the eve of visits by German and Lithuanian lawmakers to the self-governed island. The drill has been described as countering separatist forces. The training exercise was announced on Sunday by Colonel Shi Yi, the spokesman for the Eastern Theater Command of the People's Liberation Army. He said it would involve sea and airspace maneuvers around Taiwan, focusing on land strikes and amphibious assault action. The exercise was designed to test the joint combat capabilities of the troops and resolutely counteract the provocative actions of external forces and Taiwan independent separatists, a statement said. Taiwan is a Chinese... Oh, well, let's go into the whole history that I am not interested in covering. So basically, this has been going on for some time. I guess Washington did a simulation. We'll read this article here. It says, War Game Simulation Predicts Outcome of Taiwan Conflict. So this is some grade A propaganda right here. An attempt by Beijing to take control of Taiwan by force in 2026 would likely be unsuccessful, CNN has reported. I'm glad we've got CNN to take the lead on all of this vital information. Citing a war simulation conducted by a U.S. think tank, the ensuing conflict would not only cost Beijing dearly, but also the Taiwanese, U.S., and Japanese militaries, the analysis finds. No shit, Sherlock. The Center for Strategic and International Studies report, titled The First Battle of the Next War, estimates that U.S. would lose at least 2 aircraft carriers and that 3,200 American troops would be killed in 3 weeks of combat, according to CNN, which viewed an advanced copy of the analysis. Oh, an advanced copy, because they were CNN, you know. The simulations, which were run 24 times, just in case, found that Taiwan survived as an autonomous entity in most scenarios, but with heavy losses to all parties. The United States and Japan lose dozens of ships, hundreds of aircraft, and thousands of service members, the report predicts. China's Navy would be left in shambles, and Beijing could lose 10,000 troops, 155 combat aircraft, and 138 major ships, and they'll lose their partridge in the pear tree, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Taiwan's military would be severely degraded and left to defend an island with electricity and basic services. Japan could also lose approximately 100 aircraft and 26 warships as U.S. bases on its territory come under attack from China. CSIS said such a war is not inevitable or even probable, noting that Beijing could opt for a strategy of diplomatic isolation and economic coercion instead. You know, like the U.S. does. Chinese President Xi Jinping has said Beijing's goal is peaceful reunification with the island, but has not ruled out force. The report notes that there is no comparison between a Taiwan conflict and the crisis in Ukraine because it would be impossible to get troops and supplies onto the island once the war begins. Whatever the Taiwanese are going to fight the war with, they have to have that when the war begins, CSIS said, arguing that Washington needed to fully arm Taipei in advance. You know, they call that staging. Anyway, however, while the U.S. may win a Pyrrhic victory in Taiwan, I don't know if that's how it's pronounced or not, it would end up suffering more in the long run than the defeated Chinese, the report concluded. Well, yeah, because we wouldn't have all that stuff we buy from them, and they would no longer love us long time. Beijing views self-governing Taiwan as an integral part of its territory under the One China policy, which is acknowledged by the U.S., and opposes any form of diplomatic and military assistance to the government in Taipei. Chinese officials have accused Washington of deliberately eroding the long-standing arrangement by having close military cooperation with the island. It goes back into furthermore Biden crapola. I gotta have some coffee. Yeah, it is really good, Leol. He says the Bear Creek soup is good for the money. Hell yeah, it is. Hell yeah, it is. And it makes a fairly good sized bowl of soup. It certainly would go well with, a side. You could feed 4 people off that if you had something for a side. Boil you some moss or something like that. That'd be good. Add a little bit of garlic and soy sauce with the moss. I'm trying to rip my headphones out, is what I'm trying to do. Okay. I feel much better. Anyway. Yeah, that is, it's awesome. It's a well-spent few bucks, that's for sure. Oops. Okay. China won't allow geopolitical games in Asia-Pacific says an Asia-Pacific diplomat. You know what I mean. Beijing will not let me cough. Beijing will not let the Asia-Pacific region turn into a hotspot for geopolitical conflict and will defend its own sovereignty and integrity, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson declared on Monday. Speaking at a press briefing, Wang Wenbin responded to the news of a 10-member German delegation arriving on the self-governing island of Taiwan. He stressed that the Taiwan question is at the very core of China's interests and urged Berlin to respect the One China principle, acknowledging that Taiwan is an inalienable part of the nation. Beijing considers any treatment of the island as a sovereign nation, including formal visits by foreign officials, as a direct affront to its sovereignty. Wang said the root cause of the historic tensions between Taiwan and China were the law of the jungle, hegemonism, colonialism, and militarism, which had inflicted deep suffering on China for many years. The Chinese people have been committed to fighting imperialism, hegemonism, and colonialism, and upholding our sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national dignity. We will never allow any forces to turn the Asia-Pacific into an arena of geopolitical games once again to maintain their dominance, the diplomat warned. Taiwan has never... Well, this just goes back into the history of all of that, so I hate how every article has to go back into the history. Anywho, we get to talk about something else, and then I got headlines. That's all the tabs I had open. I didn't have a ton. Told you it's going to be a Guinness Book record quick night. That works for me. Alright. New guidance. Use drugs and surgery early for obesity in kids. Yes, that's right. That's right. Instead of instructing them to, exercise and eat right. No, we are going to recommend to use drugs and surgery for obese kids. Why? Because that's the new way. Right? It's crazy. Children struggling with obesity should be evaluated and treated early and aggressively, including with medications for kids as young as 12 and surgery for those as young as 13, according to new guidelines released Monday. The long-standing practice of watchful waiting or delaying treatment to see whether children and teens outgrow or overcome obesity on their own only worsens the problem that affects more than 14.4 million young people in the U.S. Left untreated, obesity can lead to lifelong health problems, including high blood pressure, diabetes, and depression. Waiting doesn't work, said Dr. Ilma Innerly, co-author of the first guidance on childhood obesity in 15 years from the American Academy of Pediatrics. What we see is a continuation of weight gain and the likelihood that they'll have obesity in adulthood. For the first time, the group's guidance sets ages at which kids and teens should be offered medical treatment such as drugs and surgery, in addition to intensive diet, exercise, and other behavior and lifestyle interventions, said Inley, director of the Center for Healthy Weight and Nutrition at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. In general, doctors should offer adolescents 12 and older who have obesity access to appropriate drugs, and teens 13 and older with severe obesity referrals for weight loss surgery those situations may vary. So I'm not going to read that huge, long article, but it's on AP. Feel free. It's insanity. Absolutely insanity. Why was the chat disconnected from me? Did it you? My own chat's kicking me out. Who is it that runs YouTube? Who knows the name? We're not allowed to know those names, right? It's not like we can call out Musk. It's not like we can call out, MySpace, you could call out Tom. Facebook, you can call out Mark. Who the hell did we call out with YouTube? Who's the head of Google? Give us a name. Anyway. Fun times. We'll probably be done by 8:30. That's why I'm kind of just buggering off. There's not really a ton of headlines today, so. Alright. Eurozone economy forecast to shrink, says Financial Times. Howdy, Steve. Yeah, short show. Oil demand to surge this year, says a trader. A trader is in like a Patrick Henry or just wondering. Brasilia governor suspended in aftermath of Capitol riot. Serbia explains opposition to Russia sanctions. A ship stuck in Suez Canal. The what? The cow? Ship stuck in Suez Canal refloated. Russia's closest ally announces joint military drills. That would be Belarus for 500, Alex. Kremlin rubbishes hoax about Korea-style Ukraine split plan. Why not just play a game of Connect 4 and divvy it up? Argentina and China expand currency swap deal, says media. Lawmakers want Bolsonaro out of the U.S. I want Bolsonaro out of the U.S. Eskom CEO claims he was poisoned with cyanide. Let's see. China takes new measure to promote de-dollarization. Let's see. Ex-Soviet state refuses to return weapons to Ukraine, says Kiev. Man, my sinuses have been draining like crazy today. Poll reveals how Turks feel about Russia. I covered that in a report today. Swiss Central Bank reports massive loss. UK mulls unprecedented arms supplies to Ukraine, says Sky. Drunk drivers scared away by snow sculpture. It looked like a cop car. No one doing enough for Ukraine, foreign minister says. Actually, I covered that earlier with the report. GOP moving forward with Biden's probes. Wonder who all he's going to probe. Hollywood movies may return to Russian theaters. Got to get money somewhere. Oh, this is fun times. U.S. to host largest ever satanic gathering. Russia is not fighting Ukrainian people, says security chief. By the way, I think that's going to be in Boston. Boston. You know what they ought to do? They ought to have, at the same time, an annual burning of the witch anniversaries, right? At the exact same time of the satanic gathering. I'm just saying, if you would get those two folks together, the Satanist and the burn 'em at the stakist, if you were to get them together at the same, I bet that would be one hell of a party. Yes, it would. Russia is not fighting. Oh, I read that. EU state to reintroduce conscription. Cardinal claims secret plot to oust Pope Francis, says media. Caliber cruise missile creator dies. EU country to change laws because of Russians, says media. Macron talks of Putin's paradox. Dun dun dun. Anyway, that's it. Told you there wasn't a lot. And I made it before the half an hour mark tonight. Yeah, baby. Not that it was a goal or anything. But, fun times. Anyway, I'm gonna take it easy because cheap and easy is always the best way to go. And I'm gonna get out of here, and God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do this again. God not willing, I'll get struck by lightning or some other horrendous attack by hellfire missiles. Well, maybe. Either that or I'll choke on a burrito and die or something. Anyway, God willing, that won't happen, and I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll have more nonsense for you then. So, anyway, hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.